Hello, good evening, guys. So we are starting our CSS class from today, and during our CSS class, we're gonna look at the HTML plus CSS together, right? And that's how it works. So let's begin. The first thing what we're gonna do is look at our document, right? How, if I'm learning, how I should follow the documentation. Okay, so let's go back here. You all have the link, right, for this GitHub. So because I'm working on CSS and HTML, I'll just open this folder. Then about CSS we have here, right? Okay. Any projects I will add in the projects folder. Okay. Any projects I will create, I'll just put in the project folder. You're gonna find the code there, right? But the documentation and the class information will be inside this folder. Okay. So what I will do is let me open this, right? This is the general readme file, okay, which you will see here for the HTML. Anything related to HTML, the recording will be here. Okay. Next is CSS. So CSS class recording. Once I finish today class, I will just put the recording video here, right? So I mean, you see something easy to just follow, right? So let's look at the documentation. Okay, what exactly is CSS? CSS, cascading style sheet. Let's understand like this, right? HTML is the raw of our web page. It's just the raw material. Means, or you can call it structure, right? Imagine you are building the house. You're gonna design in the paper, right? Like simple, structure of your house. You're gonna design in the paper. The next thing is decorating, right? Or giving nice wall, like boundaries, decorating your house and all that things you're gonna do later. In our topic, right, HTML is used for structuring and CSS is used for decorating or making things better, looks nice, right? Okay, so how CSS work? Let's continue, right? Let's look at that. Okay, so let me quickly read through this and then we're gonna go experiment with the example, right? Or just write a code after. So cascading style sheet is a style sheet language used for describing the presentation of a document written in HTML, right? So document is written in HTML and we describing the presentation means we write a code to make our HTML looks better, right? It controls the layout of multiple web pages all at once. Here are basic guides to CSS, okay? The basic syntax, how you gonna write syntax? The first thing when we start writing CSS is, because your CSS will be applied to one of the HTML tag, right? So how in different way we can select the HTML tag, that is important. So CSS syntax consists of selector. Selector means how we select HTML, and the declaration block. This curly bracket is a block, right? So one selector and you define describe the properties here of CSS. So selector, in this selector you can like select multiple element also separated with comma or any one individual selector, right? So we will look at some common selectors, okay? Name or tag, like calling paragraph or heading 1 or any element name to select that elements, right, in the HTML. Example is paragraph color blue, right? So this will select all P elements and set their text color to blue. Clear? Class selector. So when you have class, right? So last time we studied about the attribute. So we define the attribute in every elements as per our need. So the attributes can be anything. Class and ID was one of the important attributes which we define, right? We give a class or ID to our elements so that we can use that in our CSS for selecting that element. That's the main goal here. Fine. So we have a ID selector, we know that one. Universal selector, we use this to select. Universal means all the HTML, right? Everything. So any property you put here in the universal, it will apply to every element. So this is used. It also has some special use case, right? So we will talk about that in the future. But this is universal. Any property you add here will be applied to all the element. Okay. Attribute selector. So we have attribute selector, right? You can directly call the attribute also. So type of attribute is, for example, let's say ID, right? ID equal to and the value what you have given to that one. Or we have ID and class, but there are other attributes also, right? For example, in case of input, you have type. Always type. There are many inputs type, right? Text or radio button or checkbox. So the attribute is type and maybe checkbox, right? If the value is checkbox or text. And that element border 1 pixel solid black, right? So you can use attribute selector also. So these are the few like most common use case or of the selector, right? There are many like complex selection also, but as long as you know this much, right, you will be able to get work done. Okay, this is good enough for now. Common properties now. We learned how to select, but common properties, right? So the first one is background color. This is how you apply background color. You can apply background image also. Okay. You can even color, right? So the color will be for text and the border, right? But the background means background of the element. Okay. If there is paragraph and you want to have a background color or background image, this is what you're going to use. Text now. So there is background color or background color, right? Color is for text and the border, and the background for any element. Now, if you have text, you can apply these properties, right? Like font size, font family, text align, font weight. These are the most common properties of text. Box model, we will learn about this in the more details. So every element is a box, and when we define the box width, height, margin, padding, border, right? So if every element is a box, we can define all this property for the box, right? So the box is a complete different science now here, right? It's like a whole different thing. And we really have to understand the box model. Okay, this is a big topic, right? Very important one. I cannot say big, but important one, right? We must understand this. Okay, the whole design pattern is based on this box model. Okay, if someone understands this and understand how to position the element, that means that person almost master, right? Structuring the websites and applying the CSS. Means you create a structure and then you apply CSS. So important topic. Now positioning, right? Element can position in one of the place. Okay, like within the website, you can position element anywhere, right? But how the positioning work? So we can talk about positioning also. display now, right? So how element is displayed in the web page. Okay, so we know our HTML is two types already: block, inline and block, right? Okay, so the element displayed in the block and inline, we know that already. But in the display now, even though it's inline and block, right? You know, with CSS we can apply additional features for our display property. So this is some basic HTMLs, and here you can find CSS, right? All right, so let's now do some practical on this topic. What I will do, I'm gonna inside CSS, right? Let me just CSS 1 and add index.html. Okay, so this text is very small. Let me increase the font size. Yeah, I hope that is clear. It's big enough, right? So index, you always gonna need index. Then you're gonna have style.css to write a style, right? If you have index, how you gonna add your boilerplate or the structure of your HTML? Either you type doc, maybe you can type doc, right, like that, and hit a tab, and it will give you the structure of your HTML. Structure means just the boiler starting code, right? That is one way. Or you can type HTML like this, right? That will also work. Or you can add exclamation, right, and tab. This will also work. Okay, so there is 3 different ways you can get this boilerplate or starting code for HTML. So I'll call it learning basic CSS, right? Now, first thing, where we can add the CSS, right? So 3 different places: inline, internal, and external, right? So this file is external. Okay, first I will show you how to write inline. So if this is a paragraph, right, with maybe 20 word, okay, that's the paragraph. Inline means here, so I will add an attribute called style, right? This is attribute. Now look at this, style is an attribute, and then style attributes let me add all the properties of the CSS. So whatever I need, I can apply for this paragraph, right? So let's say I will just put a color, right? COLOR, color, and red. Okay. If I want to add one more, right, I'll just put say comma here, and I will say color. Then maybe what I can add, right, font size for text, font size, right, size here, and large, medium, small, extra large. So I will do maybe 24 pixel for now. Good. So that's how you can add multiple CSS properties to your element inline. Okay, so how it works? First you have to attribute style. This is a special attribute to style our element for within inline, right? That is the important thing. Okay, so let's go live view and check, right? Let's open this. This you can see now the paragraph with the red color, and the font is 24 pixel. It's large, right? Fine. So I will just now put side by side so that you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, done. So the next thing is internal style. So in the head section, you can call the style tag now. Here, if you call the style, that is attribute. In the head section, when you call the style, that is a tag, right? Style tag now. So inside this tag, we are allowed to add CSS style. Now it will be same how we select, right? So let's say I will just put here heading 1, okay, h1 element, and I'll just say learning CSS, right? Basic. So I can select this with a name, tag or name. So that is how you select selector and the block to write properties. So I will say background color orange and give some padding, right, of 10 pixel all around. And you see that the background color is orange and there is some space inside the box, right? So this is a box now, okay? S1 is every element is a box. And for that box, when you define few properties like padding, width, height, margin, border, right? So the box has some box model properties. One of them is padding also. So padding means inside the box, space inside the box. Fine. So you can see we can select something here, right? Even I can select p tag and I will say background color of purple. And you see, so there is no space inside the box right now, but soon I add padding, right, of 20 pixel. You can see the space now inside the box, inside that box, right? Fine. So what we learned, internal style. Now what is external now? Here, right? First we have to link this style sheet in our index page. So let's go on the top here. Maybe, okay, head, inside the head, after this style, link, right? And then dot slash means same folder, okay, same directory. I have style sheet. So this means root directory or root folder, right? So root means the same folder, okay? If I do double dot, that means it will go one step up, right? For example, dot slash. So see, I'm in the CSS1 now, right? CSS1. Now I can find something here also. If I do again one step up, now I'm getting all this CSS, HTML, right? So image means I'm already here on the top level, right? Okay, I'm already in this what do you call that, on the MERN stack, okay? All right, so let's, when you need to get something from the same folder, because our style sheet is in the same folder, right, in the CSS1. So if I need to access any file in the same folder here, one dot, see, it will give me to choose, right? So style CSS, that's what I need. Now my external file is connected to this index page, to this HTML, okay? If I go back here and I say padding in the paragraph, right, and change the color, okay, color to maybe let's make it this, right? Save. It did not change. Why? Now I will tell you the order of execution, right? So look at the order. The first thing is inline has a higher precedence because here is already red. Red will be always there, right? Okay. The next is, see, style, right? This is the style, but this style is on the top. Okay. After this style, we have link, right? So for example, I have padding 20 here for this paragraph, or maybe background color, right? Let's say background color is here in the style tag, okay, purple. If I go back here and I will say background color to maybe let's make this See, so the order of execution will be first higher precedence is inline. If you put something in the inline, right, that style will be applied first. I mean, that is the last one to take over, right? Not first, but this will be the last to take over. This has the highest order, right? After that, depends. If I put this link on the top, right? If I put it here, just outside of this style and save. So this will be the like a, in this two, right? This will be the last one, because whatever is here will be replaced with inside here. Okay, so soon I save this, look at that. So I had the green or whatever color there before, aqua, right? So the style from here is replaced with this background color. I mean, you get the idea now. That's how the order work. Okay, so we learned three different things: how you gonna, or where you gonna apply the CSS, right? Inline, internal, which is inside the style tag, and external. The order will be whatever you put in inline that has the highest power. Then in this two, right, which comes later, means this comes later. Whatever is here, that will take effect. Or yeah, so, and if there is nothing, then this will be this CSS will be applied, right? Now, do we do all this all the time? No, right? We don't do. I mean, I just tell you how things work, right? But normally you're not going to need this. I'll comment out, right? Soon I comment out, you see whatever is here take effect, right? Also, you're not going to do inline, right? Most of the time. Okay, save. Now see, it looks something like this. Fine. So now we saw how to select, how to apply, where to apply CSS, right? All that stuff. Next is, so let's look at our documentation now. Basic syntax, right? Selector and properties and value. That's how it works. Name, class, ID. So we just learned the name, right? Head, H1, paragraph, these are the name or tag. The class will be, if I say class, right, like this, and give it maybe heading 1, right? So how I'm going to select this H1 in my style? So the class, you always use dot heading 1, okay? And now we apply, right? So I will just say, just give a background color of purple. You see that? And add some padding, right, of 10 pixel all around. Okay, that's the heading. How we select ID? So here ID, right? Maybe let's call it P1. So ID will be unique. Okay, class you can apply for any, right? Even if I go back and call a class and same thing, heading 1, right? See, that's how it works. Okay, see, before paragraph had the style, right? Paragraph had the background style, but heading 1 comes after. That's why this style take effect. Fine. So what happened if I change here, right, to this one? Save, does not matter, right? The only thing matter is the order here, how you have placed something. The last one will always have a higher precedence. So this is the last, right? This is the first, this is the last. So whatever is here, if both this one and this one, I mean both, even paragraph is using this class, that means this will take effect. Clear? Okay, so now ID, right? P1. No, okay, we did not apply ID, right? So if I just go back and let's give a P1, right? Even if I give a P1 for ID, you put hashtag and save. So okay, so ID has a higher precedence now, right? See that? Even if I make it ID, before when it was just paragraph, right? Class has higher precedence class, but soon you make it ID now, right? So individual ID, if because that's why ID is unique for each element, right? So see this paragraph now applied. Let's say this paragraph get this style, right? But also the padding is from here. Okay, padding is coming from this class 1 and ID is coming from here, right? Background is coming from this ID. So ID always, even I put this below, right? Does not matter. ID always have higher precedence power. Okay. So I have these things are clear. I mean, sometimes we just not paying attention, right? And you will think, okay, where I getting this style from? How I getting this? So you have to look at the order of the execution, right? But if you have something special element, you just give an ID name and then just select that one and apply the style. Fine. So let's look at the attribute, right? ID selector, universal selector. I mean, normally how we use universal, right? Always when you start CSS file, you add padding, make a padding to 0 and margin also make it 0 for all element, right? This is called reset. Okay, because every browser, right, let me tell you the story. Every browser has some padding margin by default which is applied to the HTML elements, and we don't want that because our design, our looks will vary between different browser. So what we do is, we reset that. We make the browser style to 0 and then apply our own style. How we do that? By applying the universal selector. That means select all element, make padding 0, margin 0, and box sizing border box, right? So during the box model, I will talk about this, but for now, just remember this code. Every CSS on the top, just add it, right? Soon we do that. Look at here. No more space on top, right? Okay, let's comment this out, right, and save. I mean, you're not going to see big difference, but if I comment the whole thing and save, so it looks something like this. Look at here, right? Okay. So undo that, save. And comment this. But now just understand, it just reset all the padding and margin, okay? Because we have given some extra padding, right? So that's why you see the effect. But if not, look at everything start from the top left corner with no padding, no margin, nothing. Okay, clean, right? So this is what you just remember, or just write down in your paper, book, whatever, right? Every time you need to start CSS, just put it there. Simple. Okay, the thing we're gonna look at quickly is the tag attribute selector. So I will just call input, right? Input type is text, and I will say placeholder, maybe full name. See, that's the one, right? I want to style this by using the input selector, right? So how we do that? You select the name, right? like that. Input. Input can have many, there are many different same input is the radio button, same input is the checkbox, same input, I mean, or many other, right? The submit button, all that. So I have an attribute called type now, and I will say text. Okay, that's it. And now you're gonna say border to 2 pixel solid red, right? And save. See that? Okay, let's make it big, right? So I will add padding. I want to make this input field big. So top and bottom 10 pixel, left and right 20 pixel. You know, right? So see, there is some space now, right? So that's how attribute selector, and this will be useful to style our form, right? If you have button, how you going to style button? Let's look at the button, right? Always gonna do the same trick. Okay, so submit. So if this is a type, right, type of button or submit, let's call it submit. You can just call button type submit, but maybe the button with type submit, there will be many, right? So better just give a ID of btn 1, right, for example. And how I select ID. Okay, so first thing for button, look at here, right? This inline element, there is a space, so they just go in the same line. The first thing I will give padding. I want to make button inside big, top and bottom, left and right. So top and bottom, maybe 5 pixel, left and right 10 pixel, and see what happened. You want to make it big little bit, so let's do that. 15 pixel, and around left and right 30, right? So looks like 15 is too much, or if that is okay, fine, right? See, every button has the border, right, or input has a border. So if you want, you know, like make a border, remove it by making none, right? Okay, so see, we don't know how to click there, we don't have click icon, right? So cursor will be pointer. So cursor, when you bring the cursor on the top of here, right, you want to point that. That means that is kind of indication of click, right? So because of this, what else we can do? I mean, many things, right? You want to have a background color of purple, right? You're gonna have something called, okay, let's give a margin, right? Margin all around, that is outside, okay, of 5 pixel. Yeah. So you want to have the color of the text, right? Color to, you know, white. Looks okay. You want to increase the font size, right? Maybe 24 pixels. Yeah. Then you want to have some border. So we make border none, right? But border radius, let's do the border radius, right? So that is the corner, okay? Maybe 8 pixels, see how it looks. It's like that. Or maybe 33 pixels. What will be just some kind of a rounded button, right? So you get the idea. So normally I will just make it around 5 pixels, see how it looks. Yeah, that's okay. You want little bit less padding, then make it 10 and around 20. It depends on our need, right? You know, just make it nice looks. So that's how you create a button. If you remember this part, right, you know how to create button all the time. So guys, what we have learned, let's recap quickly. All the selector, basic selectors, right? And then common properties, color, background color, text. So you can see Now if you have text, you can font size, font family, text align, weight. Box model we have not learned yet. Position, display we have not learned. So what we're going to do now, right, in the tomorrow class, we're going to start focusing from the box model. We're going to talk about positions, display property. So once we finish that part, some basic more, we're going to look at few more basic properties, and then we're gonna work on the Flexbox, right? And after learning Flexbox, our goal is to work on the projects. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's finish the box model, right? And Flexbox. Box model and Flexbox. These are the two important part before we start the structure, right? So we're gonna finish the structure of our website. We master how to structure anything. Okay. How you can think, right, of structuring website. Look at any web page and you should get an idea, right, how the HTML elements are arranged inside that. Okay, arranging HTML elements in order to make the proper structure, right? So that will be the goal for us in the next few classes. So tomorrow we're going to look at the box model and Flexbox. Okay guys, so I'll just stop here for now. Thank you very much.